duo, brand new show. This will be on a regular Wednesday night with myself and John from John Sinclair TV. How are you tonight, John? And what do you think of that intro?
Good evening to you, Tony. Thanks for having us on, mate. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's the first time on your show, and absolutely fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Love the intro. I love to get to new intro as well. And if someone can do it for us, then that'd be fantastic. But big up.
Yeah, I just threw that together over the weekend, and trying to find out how to do it. But I've done it and threw some music in with it, and I'm happy with that, and I think a lot of people like it as well. So yeah, brilliant. I'm so pleased I got it sorted, because it's nothing worse than having the show but no intro for it. So I've got an intro and an outro, so that's great. But
absolutely, it's brilliant, man. I mean, absolutely spot
on. So guys, thank you for coming on the channel. Welcome to It's All Black and White TV. And if you like what you see, please hit those like buttons. It helps push us up the search settings, and people can find the channel easier. And also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. It's free to do so. So click on that subscribe button. And also, if you want to click on the bell notification, that'll notify you every time a video comes up live or a pre-recorded one comes on. So I'll go into a few comments first of all. Cesare is in the house. Hi, Cesare. Hey, Tony, new subscriber from John's channel. Looking forward to the show. Thank you very much, Cesare. It should be a good one. Jules in the house. Hey, Jules. Hope you're fine. Popping by to say hello before the quiz. Have a great show. We will do. Thank you very much, Jules. Thank you. Cesare, good luck with the quiz, Jules. Gary's in the house. Hi, Gary. Hope you're well. Enjoy the quiz, Jules. Jules says thank you to everybody. And Gary says, mate. Yeah, from Cesare. Andrew's in the house. Hi, Andrew. Hello again, folks. Hope you're well, mate. Cesare's talking to Andrew and Gary. Matt Fletcher. Hello, the dynamic duo on the chatters. Hi, Matt. Hope you're well, mate. Thank you for coming along. And others are talking to each other. Davy's in the house. Hi, Davy again. John, Huns are getting beat 2-0. I've got them to get beat 5-8-0. Oh, well, then I can't. Yeah, they'll get hammered now, then, won't they? If that's the case. Andrew says, great intro. Thanks very much, Andrew. Cesare, the two not taking over. That says Gary. Yeah, absolutely. Andrew had me singing. Haha. Hope you enjoyed yourself, Andrew. Davey says hello again. Hello, Davey, from ourselves. Chris says, I'm now subscribed. Great channel, Tony. Thanks very much, Chris. Yeah, it'll take a time, but it'll get there. Cesare, let's smash the likes and subscribe, and let's help grow the channel. Thanks very much, Cesare, for your support. Thank you so much. Ryan's in the house. Hi, Ryan, again. Big up, everyone.
Big up, Ryan.
Gary says, I'm subscribed. Thanks very much, Gary. Thanks for your support, mate. And Joseph Gordon. Hi, Tony. I've joined your channel. Thanks very much, Gordon. Thank you very much indeed. And he says, I've subscribed as well. Thank you, Gordon. Thank you. Well, John, so obviously we've had a good start to the season. This time last year, we were sitting rock bottom, John, and things weren't great at all, and we were just more concerned, are we going to actually stay up or are we going to go down? But Eddie Howe came into the club, done an amazing job, not only just to keep us just up, but he kept us up by a country mile, in my opinion. And then obviously this season we start off well. We're sitting in the top 4, John. I want to ask you your thoughts on since Eddie Howe has come to the club and what he's done to this club, and not just the club, John, but what he's also done for us supporters, for the city of Newcastle, and for the wider community.
It's just that simple, Todd. He's just changed the culture at the club. I mean, look, he's come in, right? We know what style of football Eddie Howe is going to play because he's done it with Bournemouth, yeah. This is a guy that took Bournemouth through the leagues, yeah. And he has done a wonderful job with the cherries there, right? He's put on a style of football where the players are going to enjoy. Yeah. When he was appointed in Newcastle, I thought, okay, that's very interesting. But I've got to trust the orders here as well as a young manager, 43 years old at the time, now he's 44, right? And what he's done, I mean, a lot of these players might not have heard of Eddie Howe, not the foreign players, by the way. Yeah. So he's coming a head coach, right? On a 2.5-year contract. Now he's on a long-term contract. He's made the players fitter. He believed in these players. Yeah. They are, like I said before, we've got good players. It needs someone to come in and actually change them players and improve the players. Right?
Yeah.
Joe Linton, right? Under Eddie Howe, a completely different player, right? He's been changed from playing up front into central midfield. He's turned him into midfield enforcer, right? And he has done bits, right? He's done amazing things, Tony. He's done amazing things, winning the tackles, breakout play, one of the best box-to-box midfielders in the country, right? And I will say, not playing the World Cup this year, but a Copa America next year, he could do, right? Miguel Miron, right? I mean, this guy, right? He works hard, I get it. But under Steve Bruce, he looked a real lad lost, yeah? I just didn't know what's going to happen to him. I felt sorry for him. I said he's not good enough for the Premier League. He needs to be going abroad to Spain or somewhere like that. He's going to be suited. Eddie Howe this season has turned this guy's career around, yeah? He has been outstanding. 6 goals in pre-season, 6 goals in the league, and he's been outstanding, yeah? He really has. He's brought players in which needed fixing, yeah, when he came. He had to fix the defence. I've said this in January. He needs to fix that defence because we're very leaky. He's done that. Brought in Dan Burn, right? He's brought in Bruno Gamache, yeah? Matt Target, yeah? Brought them in, right? And made it different. It made a huge difference, right? A huge difference, yeah? He brought Chris Wood up front, right? Okay, 25 million quid. I was very up. I'll be honest with you, I thought to me that was a waste. I know people's going to say, but he's done the job. But at the end of the day, right, he wasn't the answer up front, yeah? Not the answer, not at all, yeah? And the one thing I'm going to say as well, he gave us that belief. He understood the City. He knows exactly what we're all about, yeah? As open attacking football. We've got this now, yeah? We've got this, yeah? This is why he made Newcastle a fortress, yeah? And I can't big up Eddie Howe any further, man. I cannot big him more, right, than what he's doing because he's done brilliant. Yeah, the guy's amazing. We love Eddie Howe. He knows exactly what we need, right? He is turning these players into top quality players. Yeah, and what he's done, right, within what, a year, like Steve Bruce tried to do in nearly 3 years, right? It's just a waste of 3 year project under this cabbage heat. I'm sorry, I'm going to say that. He nearly ruined our club, killed our club, yeah? And then the new ones come in, totally different, yeah? But Eddie Howe's done a wonderful job and he deserves a long-term contract and he gets the City. We love him. And the community at the club's fantastic. The Teamsters there. Oh, Ken Trippett, by the way, is bought as well. He did that. He brought leadership to the club. Players, young players, going to be talented. Who cares for the club? And the one thing is, right, Newcastle United, right, we are going places on Eddie Howe. We are definitely going places here, yeah? As long as they understand at the club, that is amazing. And one thing I'm going to say as well, I'm going to get laughed at as well, change the title from head coach to manager because Eddie Howe deserves to be upgraded from head coach to a manager. Get him a manager title now, right? Like Arteta's done, get him in. Oh, and by the way, big up to Jason Tindall, by the way. I was saying Gary's comment. Big up to Jason Tindall as well. He's one of the lads as well. He just really gets you going. And that guy, I tell you something, he's the motivator at that club. But Eddie Howe, what he's done for this football club is absolutely amazing. And I hope he stays a long time. I really do. And if the England job comes with him, tell him no, he's not going there. This guy could be at this club, right, for the next 10 to 15 years. But they've got to keep faith in Eddie Howe. For me, I think he's the best young manager in the country, the best young English manager in the country.
Yeah, absolutely, John. I mean, back in the 90s, I mean, some people might be too young for that, but, we both lived through that. And, we saw what went on in the 90s when Keegan came in as manager and where he took us and how far he nearly took us. We were 12 points clear at one point of winning the league with his brand of attacking football, which some people at first called Cavalier style, but then they quickly realised, and then Sky used to always call us the entertainers because we always entertained everywhere. And we know Keegan's philosophy was, don't matter if we concede, we'll score one more than the opposition. That was always his philosophy. Even John Beresford come out and said, Kevin Keegan didn't say it. He said, the defenders, we sort of said, well, what's our tactics? And he went, there's no tactics for the defence. And John Beresford says, well, what do you mean? He says, well, we need to know where we've got to beat a tackle. He went, no, you don't need to. He says, just keep bombing forward. And John Beresford said, I thought, hang on, this guy's away with it at the minute, isn't he? And he says, but look at what we did. Look how far we got. And, he's right. We went, I mean, this is the same manager who said to John Beresford, come and sign for Newcastle. We'll get promoted this season. We'll go to the Premier League. He says, probably the following season or the season after we'll be in Europe and you'll be in the England team. And John Beresford said, I thought this man was away with the fairies. But he wasn't, because he wasn't wrong, was he? What he'd done, Keegan, got we promoted the first season. And then we ended up in European competition. So, he got it bang on. And I think Beresford got an England cap. So, yeah, he was right. I mean, if you look between the styles, I mean, I know it's two different generations of football now, but do you see any similarities between Eddie Howe and Kevin Keegan in their styles of football, or just? But with me, I think yes, we've got the attacking intent there, but I think with Eddie Howe, we're doing more pressing and intensity in our football than what we did under Keegan. What's your take on that, John?
Yeah, and also Eddie Howe's team's defence properly as well, by the way. Back four, me personally, is better than the ones back in there because we got a tight defence now. And yes, I think we got players like Philippe Albert and you got players like Dan Peacock as well at the back as well. I like those two at the back. They work well together. And look, it's similar. It's more attacking and we do press a lot now, right? We do press a lot, which I think is brilliant. And it's just so exciting to watch. And it's just keep going because at the end of the day, right? I mean, if we look at it, right? Keegan goes and say, we don't care if you score 3 as long as you score 4, right? But for us, we just be relentless, passing movement as well. But it's about the same, because we're being entertained now. This could be entertained as much too, because the players we got there now are really, really good. Joe Linton can break, Bruno can pass the ball. You got Miggy doing Miggy things now. His confidence is sky high. Is he David Ginola? Probably not, because Ginola is levels, even Lauren Robert's levels, Nobby Solano's levels as well back there. But going back to Keegan's team, right? But the one thing I'm going to say, he's brought some cracking players. He's got world-class players there. David Ginola, Andy Cole, right? Gillespie as well. You know what I mean? Alan Shearer, club record signing as well. And he got also got Robert Lee as well. Cost what, 750,000 at the time. Yeah. I mean, let's be real. If you do a combined 11 between Keegan's team and Ed Howe's team, I think Keegan will just nick it. They'll just nick it because we had better players then. Do you know what I mean? But it's a tough one. But I honestly think, it's similarities because we do play beautiful football. And long may it continue, man.
Yeah, exactly, John. And you see, the thing is as well with Keegan, and Keegan and Howe have got something in common as well, because they can both spot, like, turning the players' fortunes around. So you spoke about Joe Linton's fortunes being turned around and Almiron's under Eddie Howe. When you think under Keegan, I mean, Steve Howe was a youth player when he came in the club, and he was a striker, supposedly a striker. When Keegan come to the club, I mean, he was a terrible striker. I mean, probably some people in chat might not remember Steve Howe as a striker. I mean, I watched him when I used to go to St James's Park at the time, and he was absolutely woeful up front. He couldn't hit a barn door, and Keegan come in, assessed the team, and then he thought, hang on a minute, I'm going to try you at centre half. But Howie is a centre half, and he was one of the best centre halves in the Premier League, Steve Howie, by a mile, and we eventually sold him to Man City. So it shows you, sometimes a player you can come into a club and the player you may think, oh, he's not very good as a striker, but like Keegan's done, stick him at right centre back, and what a centre back Steve Howie was. Do you agree with that, John?
I have to agree, man, because look, we just say he wasn't very good at front, but he's decent enough at the centre of the defence. Yeah, but I have to agree, because I think he's better playing there. I think he's calm on the ball. What's he, 6'2", and he's got the right height for being a defender, right? And he's a decent player. I wouldn't say he's world class. I'm not going to say that.
No,
he's done enough. He's not world class, but he's done enough. Like, you know what I mean? He kind of defends properly, and he's a big unit as well. And but look, at the end of the day, is he better than Philippe Albert? Probably not.
No.
Philippe Albert was a class act. He was a class act at the back. That goal he scored against United was absolutely unbelievable, man. But at the end of the day, I like him. And he's just an honest defender. That's what I would describe him as, an honest defender.
Yeah, I thought at the time he was probably one of the best in the Premier League. But, and he did get a couple of England caps as well. But, he was... he wasn't bad considering he was a terrible striker, but he turned into an excellent defender. So, that was the thing. I'm just going to go through a few more comments. Davey says, we're all a big team, Tony. Absolutely, mate. Totally agree. Andrew says, are you going to do a fans forum? Yes, Andrew, there is a one tomorrow, but it's not called a fans forum. I'm calling it the fan zone. So it's similar to a fans forum, but I'm rebranding it as the fan zone. So that'll be on tomorrow night about 8 p.m. Gary says, I'm watching as well, lads. Hi, Gary. Thanks very much, mate. Nice to see you again. Chris says, we've gone from nailed on relegation candidates a year ago to fourth in the league. It's an incredible transformation. Absolutely. Definitely. I mean, from where we were last year, it's just, we've just gone up. Almira Geddon says, Cesare. Yeah, I like that one. That's a good one. Yeah. Alan says, I've joined your channel, Tony, and also John's. Keep up the good work, lads. Thank you very much. Thank you, mate. Thank you so much. Gary says, it goes to show what positivity, proper training and fitness, excellent coaching and tactics can achieve at a club. Amazing management and a plan. Great manager. Absolutely, Gary, 100%, mate. I mean, that guy, I mean, he's just, he's just come into the club. A lot of people doubted him coming into the club. Some of our fan base doubted him. And a lot of people said, oh, well, what's he done? He's only took Bournemouth back down. But he's now proven that he's a great manager. He's a good manager, and he's going to be a great manager. And I think at the end of it, there's going to be a lot of Premier League teams going to start looking at him when they get rid of managers and thinking, oh, I wish we had Eddie Howe, because I bet there's a few out there now thinking the same. Gary says, big shout out to Jason Tyndall too. Yeah, absolutely. He does great on the sidelines, doesn't he? And that. And it's obviously he's trustworthy assistant as well. So yeah, he's done absolutely brilliant. But not just Jason Tyndall, but the whole coaching team as a whole. Even Graham Jones is doing well. So the whole lot, yeah, he's got a great backroom team and stats people behind the scenes. So yeah, absolutely spot on. And we couldn't have a better team if we could, So Cesare says, anyhow, Joe Linto, Miggy and Kraft just shows how rewarding it can be to be wrong sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. Kraft's had a good time as well. He's played well and yeah, absolutely fantastic. Alan says, who's the young Brazil lad we are trying to sign from Santos? Is it Gabriel Angelo or something, I think, isn't he?
Angelo Gabriel is one of them, and Andrea Santos as well from Vasco da Gama.
Angelo Gabriel, that's the one.
Yeah, plays for Santos, and they want something like 27 million quid for this guy. I don't know a lot about him, and apparently he's supposed to be really good, and we are trying to get one of the best young players in in Europe as well. This guy has been excellent for Santos, quite skillful. He's got pace, and he can score some candy goals as well. And he's a young lad. So, and if you're going to buy a player from South America, they can't really leave the club until they're 18.
Yeah, true, John. Yeah, and but yeah, it just shows you where we're looking for players now, doesn't it? You know, and how high the bar was setting for players. So
yeah,
bring it on. The more
absolutely.
the merrier.
Exactly. We also have this guy called Jason as well from Marseille as well, because Igor Tudor, Marseille coach, just to rate him at all whatsoever, sort of thing. So he's out of Fiorasso, and he could be available in January. He's got, I think he's out of contract at the end of the season, or maybe the next season after that. But one thing I'm going to say as well, Jason, if it's Jason that I know that he's played for Fiorentina and Roma, then he has improved. He's definitely improved. He's technically brilliant, skillful, and just good pass to the ball.
Thing is, Eddie Howe will get the best out of these players as well. That's a good thing about Eddie Howe. He's a good motivator.
He is indeed, and he knows exactly how to do it as well. Can he speak Spanish? I don't think Eddie Howe can speak Spanish, by the way, but if he does, big up to Eddie Howe. But look, at the end of the day, I've said it, he's the best young English manager in the country, in my opinion, and that's why we're fourth in the league.
Absolutely, John. I'm sure Manquillo can help out as a translator, and I'm sure Isak can as well, because I'm sure Isak speaks Spanish as well. So
he does.
Yeah. So there you go. We've got people at the club who can help him out, and Joseph says, send me the link. It's not a fans forum tonight, unfortunately, Joseph. Gary says, Cesare, who do you think is the most improved player at the club? Totally. Cesare. Chris says Andre Santos. Yeah, we're looking at him as well. Cesare talking to Gary, saying, hands down Joe Linton for me, but I could see Miggy, etc., but particularly Joe Linton because he was absolutely useless. Little did I know what he'd become. Yeah, absolutely. He's turned into a brilliant, brilliant player. Even raving about him on TalkSport as well. Davy Durkin, 3-0. 3-0 now, John. Napoli.
Wow. I'll tell you what.
What's strong? It's 2-0, sorry, he says.
2-0. I'll tell you what, though, just quickly on Napoli, right? What a season they're having. I mean, Spalletti's done a fantastic job with them. Safe pairs of hands as a coach. And like I said, Kvaratskhelia, that guy is absolutely class. And I'll tell you what, he'd been there for a long time. It only cost 8 million quid. And the president there, De Laurentiis, is a very tough negotiation trying to price players out of club, and he loved to fleece their clubs as well. So, look, that guy is brilliant. I think Napoli could win the title for the first time since 1990. Wow,
that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
The place will be rocking there if they do. If they do it, the place will be rocking.
Wouldn't it just? Gary said to Cesare, a toss-up for me between Big Joe and Kraft. Mickey was always busy but lacked the end product, whereas Kraft and Big Joe have improved every aspect of their games. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Miggy's improving his end product now, isn't he? Just he's been double figures very shortly. Cesare says, yeah, you're right. Kraft specifically showed so much improvement. I don't even stop worrying about when he'd be selected by, say, Joe Linton because he went on to be player of the season. Cesare says, most have improved, to be fair. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Spot on. He says, yeah, Gary says even Murphy's improved. He had for a bit, yeah. Cesare says, true, Murphy. So he even suddenly crossed with his left foot now. Yeah, absolutely.
He's got to do a lot more for me, Murphy. Look, I know people speaking up and saying, oh, he's back. 2 games is the greatest player so far he's done his proof yet, but he's got to do it for the whole season. I want to see Jacob Murphy score, like, say, 8 to 10 goals, and say 10 to 12 assists. And then we'll find out the real Jacob Murphy. Because at the minute, sort of thing, like, let's be real, right? I don't want to have a go at him, but I'm still not convinced. I'm not. But we both know this, Tony. And
yeah,
I mean, I'm not gonna lavish him. By the way, I'm not. I mean, he had 2 good games, but he's got to do it. Obviously, have 10 good games. He can have 1 bad one. 10 great games, 1 okay game. I want to see more from Jacob.
Oh yeah, we need to see more and more end product as well, because we don't. them crosses, I mean, this season he's put crosses in, but they've not getting anywhere. So we need to see these crosses being turned into something that can be put in the back of the net even, or a chance on target, you know?
Exactly. And the thing is, right, it can cross the ball. It can do it. But I think at times he's lacking confidence at this moment in time. I hope that I'll have to prove on again, but would he be my first choice winger? Probably not. I mean, Miggy, that right hand side is definitely safe for him. Then you also go on the left hand side, ASM when he's fit. Then Elliot Hansen can come in as well. So we definitely could do with another right side midfield player if we can.
Yeah, definitely, John. And you know, I mean, even if we've got Madison in January, he can play right wing as well as in the centre mid. So, you know, he's got a bit of versatility about him. So let's hope we can get him in. Alan says, lads, pick your best ever team. I'll tell you what we'll do, Alan. We'll give it a week. So what we'll do is we'll do that for next week, John. So what we'll do is we'll pick a combined best Newcastle team.
Yeah.
And see what we can come up with the 11 plus substitutes. That'll be an interesting one, John, won't it? Because it's going to be very difficult, but that'll give us a week to see what we can come up with. And
cool.
We'll do that for next week, Alan. So tune in for that next week, and we'll do that on the Dynamic Duo.
I'll hear that.
Yeah, good one, John.
Yeah.
Andrew says, okay, cheers. Niall, just submit. Great channel. Have you? Keep up the good work. Thank you very much indeed. I like coffee. Good evening again, John Tony. Good evening. I know he loves to put that on, doesn't he?
He does, doesn't he?
Chesney, I don't like to compare legends, but Kevin Keegan and Sir Bobby Robson were genius man managers. But how is that and a tactician? Too early to call him a legend, but he's already got cult hero status. Absolutely, Chesney. I mean, yeah, okay. He hasn't got cult hero status at the moment, but I'm sure he will have. But yeah, I mean, Bobby Robson, you know, the great Sir Bobby Robson as he was. I mean, he didn't just do it in Newcastle, he done it abroad everywhere he went. You know, I mean, he didn't win a trophy for us, unfortunately. And, you know, the sad part about it was when Freddie Shepherd sacked him after I think we lost to Villa and he got the sack. But if you looked at every season we were under Bobby Robson, we always started off slowly, but then the momentum started, you know. I mean, I'll never forget that first game when we hammered Sheffield Wednesday 8-0 after Rudhull went, you know, and nobody expected that. You know, Shearer scores 5 goals in that game, and, you know, we didn't expect that. But no, Sir Bobby Robson was a great manager. I really liked Sir Bobby, and I just thought it was just disgusting the way he was treated by Freddie Shepherd at the end. And as far as I'm concerned, the man's a legend, and he'll always will be a legend. Do you agree with that, John?
100%. I mean, what he's done, I mean, he would come in, people say, oh, he's 66 years old, and people outside world saying, oh, he's done, he's too old, sort of thing. Really? He's still got a lot to offer. Yeah? Comes in, right? And he had to keep us up, which he did. And it got us into 2 Champions League places. The first one got us to the second stage of Champions League and just missed it. And then the following season, he couldn't get us into the group stage as well. We got beat up Partizan Belgrade. But the football has absolutely been fantastic. But the thing is, right, I mean, the reason also being sacked as well is because it's people like Kieran Dyer and Craig Bellamy really took the absolute ultimate mick at him. Do you know what I mean? And do you know what it is? Well, I heard I think he got sacked on August 30th on my birthday.
I think it was, John.
I was 35 at the time, you know. 35, and on my birthday, got sacked on his birthday. Unbelievable. And I can remember Malcolm McDonald's come out and he said on Sky he was absolutely foaming. Because it all started when Kieran Dyer told Bobby Robson I want to play in that position, he wanted to play out front or something. So Bobby Robson dropped him, which rightly so. Guess James Milner to take his place, and Milner had a fantastic game, by the way. But the question I still want to know, was Bobby Robson's signing? Did Patrick Kluivert, was that a Sir Bobby signing, or was that a Freddie signing?
Do you know, that's a good question, John. And I think, do you know, I look at that and think, I think that was more probably a Freddie Shepherd signing, if I'm honest.
I'll go along
Because
with
he
that.
wanted the big names in, didn't he? Wanted the big names in. So, yeah, I think it could be. I think it could have been. It could have been a Freddie Shepherd signing. Yeah, yeah, interesting that one. Interesting.
Absolutely, man. But
I don't know what people in the chat think of that. So, if do you think it was a Bobby Robson signing for private, or do you think it was a Freddie Shepherd one? Get your comments in on that one. I Like Coffee says, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get Tony to 200 subscribers before the weekend. That'd be lovely. Thank you very much. I Like Coffee, yeah. Gary's talking to Cesare. Chris says, Eddie Howe doesn't speak Spanish, but he learned Geordie quick enough. Yeah,
exactly.
Yes, he does. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Alan says, Newcastle are signing players for the future. Yeah, Project Youth, as I call it.
Yeah.
How long is Emil Kraft out for season? I think he's out for most of the season, isn't he?
I think he's at the end of the season, in my opinion.
I think so, yeah. I don't think he'll be back. He's in Sweden at the moment, as far as Eddie Howe said, and he's with his family in Sweden. So there's nothing he can do till he goes back to rehabilitation. I think it's a long road back, but, you know, hope he comes back and just as strong as he was before he went off. And, you know, still I look at that Tranmere game and they were just out to cause as many injuries as they possibly could. But, you know, thankfully we beat them and we got through the next round. Gary says 9 to 10 months, I think. Yeah. Chris says out for the rest of the season as well.
Sad, man. Wish Emil's really recovery, man. Yeah.
And Gary says, tell you what, lads, everyone's forgetting about the run we went on after coming back. Saudi 9 games unbeaten, lads. Yeah, absolutely. That 9-game run we went on, that contributed in us staying up. And as I say, the rest is history. You know, first team not to win in 14 games and stay up. I don't think any other team will do that, or I think it'll be quite impossible for another team to do that. So it's yet another first for Newcastle in the Premier League, you know. So it's one of many we've had in the Premier League. I mean, when we were 4-0 down to Arsenal, we came back and drew 4-4, and that had never been done in the Premier League until then. So, yeah, we are quite good at getting firsts in the Premier League at the moment. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, the next subject I'm going to go on, John, is I'm going to bring it up on screen. Right, there he is. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. There we are. There's Sven Botman on screen, John. So we wanted him back in January. We couldn't get him. And because they were in the Champions League with Lille and they were playing Chelsea, they didn't really want to sell him. They kept putting the price up. We sort of backed off and didn't take it. We did offer money, but it didn't get taken. So then it come to the summer. Then there was the thing about AC Milan wanting him. And people thought he was going to go off to AC Milan, but then they thought, no, he may come to Newcastle. This saga sort of dragged on for quite a while. Some of our fan base was saying, oh, let's give up, walk away, get somebody else in. But our owners persisted. No, we want Sven Botman, and they persisted. And then AC Milan were going through a takeover, as far as I can remember. And because it wasn't going through, we ended up nicking Botman ahead of, and we put the price up as well because we added more money into it. We added up to 35 million. And so Lille accepted that offer, which blew out the water of AC Milan. And to think that we were at the top table against these big clubs and to beat someone of the caliber of AC Milan, we'll not take that away because they were league champions last year in Serie A. You know, and a very decorated club as AC Milan is, we got Botman in. And now, how much has he improved our defence? Well, let's just say he's improved it tenfold, that's for sure. I can't praise this guy highly enough. I mean, you know, he came in, he had to get used to the Premier League, and he had to get used to it fairly quickly as well. But And I look at Eddie Howe and I maybe he was thinking, oh, maybe leaving him out of Bournemouth was probably the wrong idea now. But other than that, I think this guy has been an absolute rock. He's the Rolls Royce, in my opinion, of defenders. 22. He's nowhere near his peak yet. So, this guy is nowhere near his peak. And how far this guy can go is, well, I can see him as a future Newcastle captain, maybe a future Dutch captain as well of the national side. Right, John, the floor's yours now. Tell me and tell everybody in the chat your thoughts on Mr. Rolls-Royce Sven Botman.
I can call him Botman Didi if I had to, but because that guy could defend properly, yeah. But Paolo Maldini, he is not. Paolo Maldini is not yet. But listen, Sven Botman, I mean, we was after him for a while. If this the defending we want to buy, it's this guy. And this guy, for me, is just world class. He really, really is. I hope he's going to laugh at us, but this guy can actually defend properly. Let's look at his height, right? He's 6'5", okay? He defends well. He's not even being tested, right? He reads the game like a book. He's so calm on the ball as well. He can bring the ball out from the back. He could, bring it out as well. Great tackler. And not many people get past this guy. But what I love about Sven, he defends properly, yeah? Everyone's saying, yep, Stan was a cracking defender in his prime. Yes, he was, yeah? But this guy could absolutely eclipse him all day long. He's a leader, right? What I've noticed of him, he hasn't even had to break sweat. He has not broken sweat when he does play Tony. I can't lie. Yeah?
Yeah.
But he pocket Harry Kane. And I still think he's got Harry Kane in his back pocket as well at some of the games. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
listen, let's big up Sven Botman, Virus. Big him up, right? I mean, look, this guy is absolutely brilliant. This is the sort of defender you can have, you want. And I've never seen someone comes in at the back, right? I know when you come to the Premier League, it takes a bit of time. It needs time. It took him absolutely no time whatsoever because you see a defender or a world-class defender when you see a one, yeah? Let's be honest about Sven, yeah? You just said there, he could be the future Newcastle captain and a Dutch captain as well. I think this guy is, to me, he's a Champions League defender. And I hope, right, if he defends properly, right, the Botman and team, we haven't lost, by the way, with him playing, by the way. And please got to know this is right. But I keep in the team as long as he doesn't get beat. And then the top four could be ours. But I think this guy's going to is destined to the very, 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 very top. And I think a lot of top European clubs missed out on this guy. They really missed out on him. And they're thinking, Newcastle? What's he gone to Newcastle for? They're not that big a club, yeah? But listen, at the end of the day, we've got the money. We've got the prestige. We can get any players we want now, yeah? We don't have to sell. You look at that team, give it 2 or 3 years, we have a world-class team. We will improve. We're bringing better players into the team. And the one thing you got to mention as well, you got to big up for Fabian Schär as well, because I think he's played his best football for his entire career. He is learning from, those two at the back, don't give much away, I'm telling you. Yeah? Last season, Fabian Schär played in a Newcastle team that got absolutely pocketed by Spurs, right? The other day, right, he improves as a defender. But would Sven Botman be in the next 10 years? As long as his owners are still here, and Ed Howe's still here, 100%. I think he could be a true legend at Newcastle United. He could be one of the best defenders we've ever had at the club. And if you keep him, if he wins something, right? If he wins something, then I think he'll stay longer. But we have got to win something. We've got to be in the Champions League. If not this season, the very latest next. Because I can see this guy be amazing, whichever club he's going to be. I think he's good enough to play for the 2 Spanish giants. I think he's good enough to play the Italian league, which I don't think they could afford him anyway. Let's be honest about that.
No.
But one thing I will say, I think he'd be good enough to play for Bayern Munich as well, because I think he is that good. He is that good.
His price tag would be high now, John, I think, as well, because of how well he's playing. And, and you see now why we were persistent on getting him in the club, because we waited and waited and waited to get him.
Mm.
And it showed why we waited for him, why he was the number one target, I mean, before we were even in for him, to be honest, John, I hadn't even heard of Sven Botman. I don't think many people had. And I don't watch French football a lot, so I hadn't really heard of him. So, and I was like, well, who's Sven Botman, But I tell you what, we all know who he is now, though, that's for sure. And what a fantastic addition he's been to the club, and many more years to come. Gary says Liverpool are 1-0 up at half time, lads. Okay.
One thing I'm going to say as well, before you go on, right, about Sven Botman, right? One thing I'm going to say, right, about him, you just said there, no one's never heard of him, but you all heard of him now, right? But the one thing I will say, right, I think there will be top clubs will be watching this guy, and they're in for a culture shock if they even attempt to try and buy this guy. For me, I'll do the half-term report, half-term player rating soon, right? I can tell you how much you'll get. I mean, he's going to get out of 10.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
but he's still got 3 more games to do it, though. He can play poorly. He can play poorly against Chelsea. He can get run around. He can still get a 3 or 4 out of 10. I hope it doesn't come to it.
No, I don't think it will, John. Jesry says, Jesry says, Tony and John, what improvements do you think we still need for our start 11? I'd say back up to Trippier, 2 midfielders and 2 wingers. Well, I said if it come to January, I'd be happy if, say, for instance, we got Diaby, Mudryk and Maddison in. Or maybe Tielemans as well on top of that. Because you could probably put a double offer in for Maddison and Tielemans, considering Tielemans is out of contract next summer and Maddison will only have 18 months left. Depending what's up, if we put a decent offer in, that might tempt Leicester and think, do you know what, we can't turn this down. I agree about the backup to Trippier, but we've got Manquillo. I know he hasn't played much. He's been injured and he's just come back. Maybe we could get it, but then you've got to get a right back who wants to come to the club, but who knows that as soon as Trippier's fit, he's going to be out the team. So you might just want to stick with someone like Manquillo who can do a decent enough job. Your thoughts, John, on that question?
Manquillo's been linked to a Cadiz, by the way, in January. I think he could be on his way to move back to Spain, for what I've heard. But for me, I mean, we are going to be short of right back. We could do another right back as well, to be fair. And that is the thing. But this is the thing, right? I mean, we lose Trippier for an amount of time. We're going to be a right back, sure, because Emil Kraft's going to be out for the season. Manquillo won't be good enough. I would hate to see Fabian Schär play a right back. I wouldn't have him right back. There's just no way to make room for Dan Burn. Matt Target, he can play a right back, but I want to see a right back and actually play right back. Do you know what I mean? But at this moment in time, we could do a right back, a covering right back. We can do another midfielder. We can definitely do another left side midfield as well if KZSM gets injured again. Elliot Anderson will come great. But if we're in a situation we make top 4, would you put Elliot Anderson in the team, in the first team, in a pressure couple months? Yeah. I'd go for experience like Mudryk as well. He'd be an amazing player to get, but he's going to cost 50 million quid. I mean, Darno, is that insane? Or the former right back of Croatia, who's a good one as well, by the way. He made it quite clear he's going to cost at least 50 million quid and respect the club as well. So they're going to be tough negotiations where the prices go away. But I know a lot about European football, don't I? I'm not that bad at that, but I should be a European football expert as well. I think I'll be good at that as well, man. But and look, at the end of the day, right, one thing I will say, right, but as long as the Leicester can still qualify for the Champions League, if they do and beat Leipzig, they'll be in the last 16 and they won't send Mudryk then. There's just no way. But we definitely need a left side mid. We could do with a covering right midfield as well in case Miggy goes down with an injury, but we need a couple more players in January and push on for that top 4 because we are now in a top 4 race.
Yeah, we are, John. And you know, if, as I said earlier, if we win those 3 games up till the World Cup, we'll still be in that top 4, you know. So, yeah, so that's what we need to do is, you know, to keep the pressure on the other teams below us, because it's nice that we can actually look below teams behind us wanting to catch us in the top 4, because normally we've looked up the table to get out of the bottom 4. So, you know, it's a nice comparison to have. The tables have turned. The tables have turned dramatically, you know, and yeah, it's just buzzing, because now we can talk about players, and you might do it yourself. I'll probably do it. Probably people in the chat will do it as well. For watching the World Cup, and might go, oh, wouldn't he be a good player for Newcastle? But you wouldn't have said that, say, 2 or 3 years ago under Mike Ashley, because you would be thinking, oh, good player, but no way we get anywhere near him. We'll have to look for somebody probably from a bit lower down or lower league or whatever. But now we look at players, and you probably do it anyway, John, but you see players and you think, actually, he would be good for Newcastle, because that's the way where the club's going now, because of the trajectory of the club, the way we're going. We're all looking at that and thinking, well, wow, look at this. We can, you know, that player will be great. And, oh, I've lost John. I don't know where he's gone. Don't know if he's had problems with his internet. But yeah, I would definitely say the way we are at the moment as a club, it's great to be in that place. And hopefully John comes back. I don't know. Oh, hang on. He's coming back on now. There we go. He's back.
About that. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, John. But no, I was just saying, John, that, you know, the way the club's going, it's like, that's the way we are now. We can just look at players. Do you do the same, John? Do you look at teams and think, wow, he would fit in well with us?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree, because we are competing now, and we are going to be linked with clubs. So our names has always been linked with clubs as well, because I know it's going to be, because it's agent talk as well. But we can't trust the agent. We got to trust the owners. If the owners and Eddie Howe sees fit, this player's going to be good for us, we go and get them. Do you know what I mean? Who would have thought Bruno's going to come to Newcastle United? I mean, I heard of the name, but a lot of people not have heard of him, but also wanted him for about a year, and we got him done in about 2 days. That's the difference, right? And he's a cracking signing for me, one of the best signings in the history of the club, because that guy's amazing, But we're after young players as well, like I said, Andre Santos, and after Angelo Gabriel as well. We're after Jason as well. That guy, I tell you what, he is not going anywhere. Don't even put a price tag on him. He's going absolutely nowhere, I'm telling you, because he is loved at Newcastle United. We love him. And I think this guy could win his country the World Cup. And I truly think he'll do that as well, 100%. I think Brazil will win the World Cup. I think they're too strong this year. They've got it right. But we're going to be after players in January, I'm pretty sure. We are going to try for James Maddison again, Mudryk, Tielemans, maybe Diaby as well. But you got to trust these owners. We're not going to get fleeced. We're not going to get rid Tough, by the way, right? Like we did with Botman back in January. Definitely not. We just put a price on that player, see how much he's worth. And if they don't want it, they want to be greedy, want to play hardball, then we just walk away from the deal. It's like Isak, they wanted 76 million quid for Real Sociedad. We got him for what? 63 with the add-ons on top. But at the end of the day, right, trust these owners. And I don't want people mourning if they say, we can't get him, can't get that, spend the money, blah, blah, blah. No. We'll buy when the time is right. But I've got every confidence in the owners. I've got confidence in Eddie Howe. You got to keep the faith in them. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely bang on, John. I mean, you know, this guy on screen here, Bruno, you know, when it came out about us looking at Bruno and signing him, I think a lot of fans were thinking, hang on a minute. You know, I mean, if I'm honest, at the time I hadn't heard of who he was, you know, and I hadn't, as I say, I'm not a watcher of French football, so I don't really keep up with it. And I thought, oh, who is this guy? Is he good? And I knew Arsenal were in for him. Then there was, I think, Juventus as well. And then when he joined us, and I was like, oh, hang on a minute, this is a bit of a statement signing, isn't it? And I thought, And then when he had his press conference, how well he spoke, and through his interpreter at the time, But I thought, oh, hang on, this guy, let's hope he cuts it, and then he doesn't just cut it in the Premier League; he absolutely rips it up, and what a class player he is. I mean, he's a class above a lot of players at Newcastle. I mean, the likes of Murphy's and that, and your Frasers, but this guy is just a special talent. And this club needs to keep him. And the owners won't just sell him anyway, because they know fine well how much he loves the club. I mean, he absolutely loves this club. And you can tell in these interviews, when he interviews him on Sky, how much he enthuses about the club. He loves it, I mean, he even said about Callum Wilson the other day, even though Callum Wilson was shocked as well when he said on Sky, he said, they said, oh, because Wilson scored. And he went, yeah, because he's a big player. And that's what Bruno said about Wilson. And Wilson went, well, I don't know about a big player. And he went, yeah, you are. And I thought, you know what? That's the type of guy he is. And, so players like that will stay. And I've got no doubt about that. Do you know what? I'm not worried about it, because I look at it and just think it's all the paper talk. It's all the journalists just trying to drive up stories to say, look, let's have a story and try and upset the Newcastle fans. But
exactly,
wouldn't surprise me if if at some point, maybe if it's in the next week or two or whatever, they come out and say he's signed a new deal, a new improved contract. It wouldn't surprise me, John. I mean, he came here. There was no clauses in his contract. He could have had an escape clause, like if we went down, he could have been sold if we were relegated. He didn't have any of that, because he had complete faith that we were staying up. And that's the class of that man who's on screen. Do you agree with that, John?
Man. I 100% with you all the way, mate. I really do agree with that, mate. Well, know what it is, right? I mean, look. If you get a player like Bruno come to Newcastle, it makes it so much easier to bring in other quality players to come to Newcastle. I saw one yesterday, right? Mike Maignan, AC Milan keeper, being linked with us, right? And Man United and other clubs as well. His agents come out and said that we do not do deals with second-tier proposals. So his agent's taking a dig at Newcastle, right? I suggest his agent, right, Maignan's agent, have a look at the table, look where Newcastle United are today, right? And look at the squad we've got. And then we as I say, we face that, because he knows now about Newcastle United, yeah? Look at the team players we've got. Look at it. Ask a name 3 key players we've got for Newcastle United, right? And Bruno Gamache is one of them. That guy is world class. I think anyone say it, he is an elite midfielder. And when you get an elite midfielder in your team, right, and you're going to be linked to players, trying to get players like James Maddison, Roy Tillemans, right, Musa Diaby, right, and a couple you're going to try and get. They're going to think, whoa, hang on, we got Bruno Gamache in the team, man. This guy's mint. This guy's lit. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely sick of a player, man. I want to play alongside him. Yeah. James Maddison should look at the Newcastle squad, look at the league table now and say, hang on, I want a piece of that. Yeah. Big up. So let's be real. Right. We've got a fantastic team there. Right. Our midfield's fantastic. The back four's fantastic. Up front, Isak's going to come on leaps and bounds. ASM is going to be well up for now in the top 4. Right. And you know what? I think we can go all the way this season, Tony. I really do believe that, mate, because if we go all the way, right, not only we're going to be laughing, we're going to be happy, right? The journalists, the media, right, and the press are going to be thinking, whoa, hang on a minute. They're not going to big us up at all whatsoever. They will not big us up. Because you know why? Because we are upsetting the Big Six. And they don't like it, or I can say to them, up yours, because at the end of the day, we Newcastle United is our time. We had 14 years under Ashley. We suffered this 14 year. We was going absolutely nowhere. And now, up yours, because we're there on merit. And another thing is as well, before we go on, about people saying about Nick Pope saying it's been time wasting, blah, 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 right? It's been time wasting.
Yeah.
Right? Spurs fans are not very happy about it. How about beating Nick Pope? Scoring goals about the net. Guess what? He said, you can see the 10 goals this season. And he said, damn good keeper.
He is, John. He's been underrated. And I mean, when you think about Nick Pope, we got, £10 million. What a bargain for an England international goalkeeper. And, £10 million is just an absolute steal. And and his kicking's improved because Eddie Howe's taught him how to do it properly. That's why, because at Burnley, all he was told was to kick it long. And he's even admitted that himself. But now he says in training, that's all they concentrate on, a lot of the kicking side of it. So, and the guy's done absolute brilliant, and can't fault him really, Yeah, he's had a couple of moments where he's come out the penalty area or whatever, but do you know what? We've got the defence to back him up. So not only if he's out of, I mean, look at that the other day when we got the ball in, and he saved the ball, but Trippier was on the line to cover him at the back to knock it away. That's the sign. That's the sign of a good defence. When you've got a good defensive lineup like that, your defenders will always back you up and help you out, and that's exactly what we saw on Sunday.
It's all about, it's all about teamwork, Tony. It's all about teamwork, and do you know what I mean? And I'll tell you what as well, man. I mean, we've got a good team spirit at this football club. Great team spirit at this football club, right? Yeah. Everyone's fighting for each other. They go out to meals, go out training together, eat together, meals together. And that makes a club so special. The bond's important, yeah? There's no fighting training on the training ground. There's none of that, because Eddie won't accept that. They all play for each other, yeah? And that's simple as that. And this is why we are where we are. And if you carry on doing that, we got leaders in the club. Leaders. We're talking about Trippier, Botman, right? Bruno, Callum Wilson. Yeah? Leaders in the team. Even Dan Burn. But
Cher as well.
Cher. I think we're going to do well. I've just got this feeling, Tony, we're going to go all the way this year. I really do think that.
Well, I hope so, John. I like your enthusiasm. I mean, yes, I would love for us to finish in the top four, John. Make no bones about it. I'd love
Depends
that.
on the sign. Depends who you're going to sign the sign me.
And it's just more so if we do finish in the top four, that now upsets the apple cart of the big six. Gary says, what a Simon Botman is, still very young, but you can see why he was such an important target. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm glad the club stuck with it. Cesare says, Botman's our Yap Stam. Absolutely class. And still so much time to improve. Yeah, he has. He's got a lot of time. And he also says, much respect to whoever advised the owners in the transfer window. Most of the players were linked, ended up not being a good fit. Coutinho, Paqueta, Carlos, etc. Yeah, totally agree with you, Cesare. Totally agree.
Coutinho wants to wear, doesn't he? I think he probably want to wear in January because Steve G's not there. Paqueta, I think he's going to be out at West Ham. I think he's going to be decent. And Diego Carlos is out injured as well. He's going to be injured for close to the end of the season, which is a shame because he is a proper defender that defends properly.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Gary says, same as Bruno, he's not going anywhere, lads. No. Alan says, Newcastle's no more a selling club. Absolutely. We're not the selling club no more. Chris Banks says, the better Newcastle do, the easier it will be to attract the players. Yes, absolutely. Because when you're in the Champions League position, you've got an easier way of getting the players into the club. Liverpool 3-0 up now on Ajax, says Gary. I like coffee. If the big clubs like Chelsea and Madrid are interested in signing Bruno this January, then why did they not bid for him last January?
Exactly. Yes.
You've hit the nail on the head there, mate. Chris says the Pope was just making sure the Newcastle fans weren't praying for the final whistle. And Davey says, no pressure, weekend. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, final segment I'm going to go to in the show, John. So, a couple of weeks ago, on Talk Sport, there was a little bit of a ding-dong between Jamie O'Hara and Gabby Agbonlahor, or Agbonlahor, if you want to call him that. So, Jamie O'Hara said Newcastle are a big club. And then Gabby, or Gobby, if you want to call him Gobby, because I think that's probably more appropriate to him. Mm-hmm. Then he turned around and he said, in what way are they a big club? And he says, how they're a big club? And Jamie O'Hara says, "Come on, Gabby," he says, "you're better than that, aren't you?" And he said, "Well, no." He says, how do you mean they're a big club?" He says, "Well, yeah." He says, "Fan base, clubs in the city centre." He says, "Huge ground." And then he goes, "Yeah, but that doesn't make it a big club." Well, I'm sorry. I would like to say to Gabby Agbonlahor, if I saw him, or if I got him on here, or if he came on your channel, for instance, John, I doubt he would anyway. He wouldn't dare. But but if I was to speak to him, I would say, "Well, actually, Gabby, why don't you look into our history? You know, the last trophy we won was a European trophy, the first cup, right? So we won that back in '69. We've been in finals. Okay, fair enough. We haven't won them. We've had 2 FA Cup finals within 2 years, 98 and 99. We lost to Man U and Arsenal respectively. But if you look before that, we've won plenty of league titles when it was the old Division 1. You know, we've won FA Cups in the 50s. We were one of the best in the FA Cup. I think, did we win 3 or 4 in a row? So, you know, so Gabby to come out and say things like that is so wrong. And the guy is just an absolute muppet. I don't know what his problem is. And then he says, players rather sign for Brentford than Newcastle. Well, no, I don't think they would, because, you know, look at what we did to Brentford, you know. Would players want to go to Brentford? No disrespect, but, you know, they'd rather come to Newcastle. Now, we know the guy isn't a great guy. He's not the best guy in the world. And he is a bit of a bell. But I hope with Tongue Villa on Saturday and see what his reaction is to that, because I'm not saying it would happen, John, but if they did turn around for some reason and beat us on Saturday, you guarantee he would be out and about shouting his mouth off against us, you know. So what's your thoughts on Gabby Agbonlahor about the way he went on with Jamie O'Hara? Fair in mind, Jamie O'Hara, I think, because I used to always look at this guy and think he used to be all right at playing. He went to Spurs and then went to Wolves and that, but then he, you know, but his social life outside of football when he wasn't playing wasn't great and things like that, and he wasn't a role model for anybody. But I think since we've had our takeover and since he's been on TalkSport, I think he's been quite complimentary about us, and I respect Jamie O'Hara for that, and I think he's been all right. So what's your thoughts on Jamie O'Hara and Gabby? Oh, Gobby, sorry.
Yeah. First of all, about Gabby Agbonlahor, right? When he gets someone, he comes on there and said that he'd rather play for Brentford for 10 grand less than Newcastle, then the guy is a monumental bellend. Let's be real. That's number one. Yeah. Gabby hasn't won any honours at the club, right? Yes, Villa are a big club, right? But we're a project club and we're a bigger club than Villa now. Yeah, we have taken over them, right? I think he needs to be worried about his own team at the moment because of CVG being sacked. And let's be real about it, right? I mean, this guy, he's just an average player. Let's be real. Yeah? Let's be real.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. But at the end of the day, right, I just think he's a bit salty. I mean, he never says anything great about Newcastle United. I don't take this guy seriously. I don't particularly want to listen to him. He is so boring on TalkSport. I'd rather fall asleep, like, you know, every time I listen to this guy, I want to fall asleep, you know. I really do. But at this moment in time, I mean, look, I just haven't got time for him. But for him, I think he's pathetic. Pathetic pundit, pathetic on there. It's just an embarrassment to the radio, yeah. But he's so boring. But as for Jamie O'Hara, yes, he did say that he thinks Steve is done a wonderful job. I don't agree with that at all whatsoever. But I'll go with you what you said about Jamie. He could do more as a player. He could have done more. He's got the ability. He could have done more. But you're right. His private life sort of thing has been great. He married Danielle Lloyd, and it just hasn't worked because he's caught cheating, blah, blah, blah. But look, at the end of the day, all right, I'm just about warm with Jamie O'Hara now because he has been complimentary.
Yeah.
He's been saying good things about Newcastle United. You know, I love to get Jamie on the channel as well. I love to, but maybe you do it. I just don't know. But for me, I just don't take Gary seriously. We're in the top 4. he's not the only one who's going to praise us as well in the top 4. I hope we batter them on Saturday, by the way, because I think Fulham's going to be in big trouble if we do that, mind, with that squad. But I think Emery will keep him up because he is a top quality manager. He really, really is. But it'd be very interesting. But for me personally, I mean, there's some poor pundits and there's some good pundits as well. But Jamie O'Hara, yeah, I'm getting to warm around him now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, John, well said. So Davey says no pressure. We can, so absolutely there's no pressure on us to get in the top 4 this season. So yeah, why not? Gary says that save Pope made with his foot against Spurs against Kane on Sunday was world class. 10 out of 10 all day. Yeah, absolutely, hell of a save.
That was a great save. Yeah. That was a great save. That's one decent save. But other than that sort of thing, he didn't have a lot to do. I mean, if I was giving him a marks out of 10, I would have given him an 8. And that's not because he didn't have a lot to do. He made one standard save. The one did the Messi chip from Son. But other than that, I still give him an 8.
Yeah, absolutely, John. I mean, that wasn't the first half after we scored and he'd made that save. But then second half when they scored, he didn't have a save to make. You know, that's how good we were against Spurs. You know,
didn't test him. Says, Dyer went close for the header, didn't that? Went just wide. That was it.
Yeah. Davey says Gabby's a prick. Yeah, we agree with that one. We agree with that one, Dave.
All day.
He's ex-Aston Villa, is he not? Yes, he is. He's ex-Villa. Yeah.
He's Villa.
I like Coffee says, wasn't Agbanlahor suspended by Villa for bringing on laughing gas? I think there was something, wasn't there? I think there was something, but I don't know what it was, but there was something to do with laughing gas in him. I can remember that, yeah. Chris says, not much to laugh about Villa without the gas.
Exactly.
That is brilliant. What a comment that is. I'll have to star that one.
Brilliant.
Gary says, yeah, so straight to the top. Do you know what, Gary? That would be hilarious if if after the Christmas and New Year we're doing so well still and say we were top of the table. Gosh, I'd like to see the meltdown by all these pundits, because I tell you now, it would be a major meltdown, wouldn't it, John?
I'll tell you something. We at that top. Can we stay there? It's just it's like the home straight sort of thing. We've never been in that position before, being top. You know what I mean? With these new runners, let's be real, right? If they put a run together, right? We only lost one game, by the way. It could be much better if you picked up maximum points against Palace and Bournemouth, yeah? And picked up points against Liverpool. Okay, cool, but that's 5 points gone. They could have had a penalty against Wolves. That's another 2 points lost as well. That's 7 points. We could have been 7 points better off.
Yeah.
And then, look where we could have been. It could have been much, much better. All we got to do now, I normally say win your home games, right? Win as much home games as you can, then who knows? But I'd love to see us go to the top. I'd love to see it happening. But personally, I can't see it happening because we got this lost Arsenal, Man City, by the way. I just can't see it happening, I'm afraid.
Yeah, absolutely, John. I mean, but...
Fourth would be realistic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, like I said earlier, I see where we are come April. But, if we're where we are at the end of the first half on the World Cup break starting, and we're in that top 4, I'll be more than happy with that, John, at the minute. And even if we did finish 4th, it wouldn't bother me, because that would be a massive success of the season, because none of us would have thought in our wildest dreams we'd finish in the top 4 this season. So it just shows you how quick the progress is. But it's also, but like Eddie Howe said, it's not just spending money on players. Like he said to the report the other day, so I've got players at the club that were here before that. So you've got to give them credit as well. And he's absolutely spot on with what he says.
Indeed.
And that's what I'm saying. Eddie's got a bit of swagger about him now, hasn't he? So, and it's absolutely fantastic the way Eddie Howe is now with the media, and long may it continue, But But right, guys, we're going to wrap up now.
I agree with you.
We've been on an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah, thanks, John. It's been a great show. Have you enjoyed coming on my channel tonight, John?
Absolutely, Tony. It's my first time on your channel, and it's a cracking channel. Second, yeah, because I was proud of repeating on that. Yes, absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for having us on, Tony. I really appreciate that. I was one of so many, and you know what, mate?
Oh, definitely.
Just please hit the like, subscribe button as well, guys, and Tony's going to do fantastically well. I know a lot of people want him to have his own channel by public demand. You've got it. Please share some love, show them the love, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and also get that 1K, and then he can start to monetize as well.
Thank you very much, John. Before we go, can you let people in the chat know where to find you on your socials?
Yes, thank you very much indeed. I should do that. And you can find us on John Sinclair TV. And I do the match previews, reviews, reactions, player ratings. Also do the Premier League prediction show on the Tuesday with you and Macy. And the fan forum on a Wednesday. And also breaking news. And one day, I'm hoping to go back on a watch along at some stage. But maybe next year. And also I'll go on PD Paradox's channel on his watch along show as well when Newcastle play with home. So please, it's John Sinclair TV. You can find us on Twitch, you can find us on Facebook, and you can find us on YouTube as well. Social media, which is Twitter, John_NUFC42. And if you'd like to check us out on Instagram or Insta, it's John Sinclair 50. So check us out.
Lovely. Thank you very much, John. And you can find me at TonyTooney31 on Twitter. Give me a follow. I'll follow you back. And you know where my channel is now. If anybody, please share it around and let people know where they can find us. And it's been great to have everybody on the chat. I'll just go through some comments before we wrap up. Gary says, yep, so straight at the top. Absolutely. Davey says, great show, Tony and John.
Thank you very much.
Chesray says, great show, Tony and John. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Without you guys, we wouldn't have channels. So yeah, it's great to have you guys in the chat as well to give your time up. Chris says, great show, Tony. Excellent chat with John. Thank you very much, Chris. Yes, this is a regular show every Wednesday now, the Dynamic Duo. I like coffee by Tony, John, and all. Thank you. I like coffee. See you later, matey. Matt says, fantastic show, Tony and John. Thank you, Matt. Thank you so much. And Gary says, if Spurs lose and Newcastle win, we go third, lads. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, they do.
It's a tricky game for them down at Bournemouth. It's not going to be easy for them, is it?
Definitely not. I think Bournemouth will be up for that game because they need the points as well. I don't see any reason why she should go for it as well because Bournemouth, getting better. Yes, they got beat in the last game, but I hope they bounce back against a Tottenham side, which I don't think will make top four this season.
Yeah, I think they'll be very lucky if they do, John, won't they? So, yeah.
For what we watched, for what we've seen of them, but they definitely need a new goalkeeper in January. No disrespect to Hugo Lloris, he's been a great shot stopper over the year, but he just cannot play the ball for the back anymore, and that's been well documented on Sunday, especially for their setting goal.
And a lot of teams are going to look at that now and try and close them down. So, yeah. So, we're at the end of the show. But, yeah. Thank you for all coming on. And from me, it's a goodbye. And from John,
it's a goodbye. Catch you tomorrow on the match preview show.
You will, John. Bye-bye for now. And how are the lads?
And we the lads. Take care.